Hello and welcome to the Arena Sports Show. My name is Clauiee Grace Mpanza. Excited to have you alongside us, of course, in this next episode. Last week, we had a special episode where we were giving away, of course, football jerseys, and you guys have been stellar in entering. So listen, we can't announce the winner today because our auditors are still looking into, of course, those entries. So we'll definitely announce the winner real soon. We've got a jam-packed show for you, a stellar panel. I'm absolutely excited about this. We'll start off with my favorite influencer, Mahlatse Mphahlele, who joins us today. Influencer, you good?
Good. Good to be back.
Yeah, no, I haven't. It feels like I haven't seen you in forever, so it's great to see.
You dodged me yesterday.
We don't air our laundry on the show. And then, of course, alongside the influencer is Tshepo Maimane, who is, of course, a football commentator and loving the swag, sir. You pull through, you're like, yeah, it drip. You're good, Tshepo.
I'm super good, my sister. I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. And then a man who's not a stranger on the show is a professional golfer, but of course a full-time football analyst, Musi Matlaba. Musi, how's the golfing going?
You forgot professional pub golfer. Golf it's going. I'm getting better slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely.
I'll turn pro maybe by 2050, somewhere there.
Okay, no, we've got time. But a lot has been happening, though, in the world of sports. So let's quickly find out what's been happening. And we're doing it with a little bit of flavor from one of our guests today.
Petros Motsepe has effectively sidesteps answering the question of whether he will stand for a second term as Confederation Africa Football CAF president next year. Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus has made 10 changes to his starting team for the year. Penultimate Castle Rugby Championship clash against Los Pumas in Santiago del Estero on Saturday. Mamelodi Sundowns beat SuperSport United 2-0 to get the defense of the league championship on a winning note as they scored 2 second-half goals from Igrahim Reyners and Lucas Ribeiro to settle the nerves.
Tshepo, I think you need to send the influencer an invoice, and maybe you might as well continue doing it going forward.
Obviously.
I've given him the numbers of my PA.
It's done.
Everything is sorted out.
All right. I mean, from finding out what's been happening in the world of sport, we obviously have to also choose stars of the week, athletes who have impressed us in the past few days. I'll start off today before the gentlemen decide to steal my star of the week. So I gotta go first. And my star of the week, I couldn't pick between the two, but it has to be Aubrey Modiba and Themba Zwane, just because of the impact that they have, of course, on the last game in the Tshwane Derby. But besides that, I mean, we know Mshishi for his class. We know Mshishi for what he brings. So just within the 3 minutes that they were brought on, we saw, of course, the difference that they brought on. So big ups to Aubrey Modiba and Themba Zwane. Influencer, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs youngsters, Nhlanhla Tshabalala and Mfundo Vilakazi. I think it's very nice to see young players getting opportunities to play. I've always said that on the show that in South Africa we tend to say players are too young and all that stuff. And I think if Chiefs were to be successful this season, these two kids will have to come to the party. And it was nice to see that the coach shows confidence in them. For sure. And if they do well, they can help the club. But they'll have to be consistent, because one game is one thing, but they still have got 29 matches to go, excluding cups. Yeah. So a good, consistent performance from the kids can really go along and helping the team.
We'll go to Musi next, because I've got a feeling that he might be also dwelling within the same club. What about you, Musi? Who's your star of the week?
Yeah, for me, thinking about it, I had one, but I have two now. The first one I would go with is El Loco Gaston Serino. I think when you bring in players of his quality or his caliber, you want instant impact. For sure. And if you look at almost every attacking situation that Chiefs had in the game against Gallants, he was part of it, and obviously having the assist as well. And the second player I'd go for is Marcus Rashford. Nice. I think he's had a very difficult maybe 18 months, also being left out of the England team for the Euros. And over the last 2 games, he's managed to score 3 goals. I think he's slowly getting back to young Rashford that we once saw when he stepped on the stage for Man United.
I don't know if he's going to be consistent though, but I'll keep my fingers crossed for
That's
him.
the big thing. That's
Yeah,
the
I
main
know,
thing,
right?
yeah.
Tshepo, what about you?
I was doing Cape Town City and Royal AM, and then I was watching this boy, Kabelo Mahlatse. For the age that Kabelo is in, but for the fact that he's still dishing that football, I think I have to pick him as my star of the week.
Yeah.
And also, I'll go with the coach, John Maduka. Remember, Royal AM, they didn't have the access to sign.
Yeah.
So for the fact that he got a draw on the first match against Cape Town City,
Yeah.
I think I'll have to go with John Maduka. Also, I don't know, for him to pick the chairman on his starting lineup, I think it's something that we have to pay too much attention on the coach, because second half, take him off and then introduce his lineup now.
Yeah.
And then you can tell on the last minutes that this is the Royal AM
For sure.
that we know.
And maybe just add briefly, I think that issue of the chairman, I mean,
That we'll talk about that just a bit later, influencer. You're jumping
yeah,
the
I
gun
just
here.
want to correct myself. That I said in Tlanda Chabalala, Mdu Chabalala.
Do Shabalala.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So to then go on with the conversation, Musi, you're part of the furniture now. So we'll go to you, Tshepo. Quickly, I mean, when you look back now in your journey and how you've started, I mean, we know your story very well. Went to the SABC, started off actually cleaning at the vicinity for a good 4 years, and now here you are talking about commentating at a Royal AM Cape Town City encounter. Talk to us about that full circle moment as well for you and how you started in the industry.
You know, every time when there's an African Cup of Nations,
Yeah.
there's that night that visit me in my mind, because I remember when I record my first demo. It was the final of Zambia African Cup of Nations, Cote d'Ivoire, Zambia. Remember that final that ended with penalties?
Yeah.
The Drogba, the Yayas, the Chansa, the
Kennedy Mwene.
Kennedy Mwenes.
Yeah.
Remember that final? I was doing that final. Luckily, when I arrived at the SABC, I met the guy. He's late now, Brian Ryan. May his soul rest in peace. He was a technical director at Radio 2000. So fortunately enough, he was doing the match for Radio 2000. And then I already explained that, in fact, I can do this thing. And then he said to me, okay, on the final day, come early, I will prepare everything for you. So I was recording like I was doing the final, like live. So when I see those things, I feel like, when I see African Cup of Nations every time, I feel like, this is the day when I started this thing all over.
Sure.
You see? And then for the fact that when I meet Tshepo Maimane on the night of, or during the AFCON, he took me and put me next to him and see, this is how we do things.
Yeah.
You see. So the journey, I don't like to say it was difficult, because for me, going to SABC, it was not all about go there to clean. No, I knew exactly what I want.
For sure.
Yes.
And now you've got gray hair.
But you've learned from some of the best. I think Tshepo was really an absolute legend. And I mean, we're talking off air now about someone like Aubrey Modiba, who for me, I put him up there with the best of the best commentators. Yeah.
Musi, from your side, I mean, how you started, and now we call you our CAF Champions League expert, you know? So now when you look back to 2010 and where you are currently and how football has evolved, talk to us also, I mean, the inspiration. When you think analyst, 2010, 2009, who are you looking up to say, this is the job that I want to do?
There was actually nobody. I didn't even know the job existed, to be honest. I was just fortunate enough that a friend of mine, Wesley Sergel, who's the assistant at Stellenbosch, they had a presentation. He was still at Tux Football, and they had a presentation from a company that was starting to do analysis in South Africa, and he told me about it. And I was still doing my final year in varsity, had no idea. I thought I was going to work at a gym or something.
And at a gym?
That's when you do sports, like sports science, there's not really any clear path of what you're going to do, you know. And immediately I went to the internet cafe, found the number of that company, called them. The CEO was in town. He met with me at Mug and Bean on New Road in Midrand.
Yeah.
And he offered me a job immediately then as an intern, unpaid intern. So I
Sure.
started working for free.
Yeah.
And by the end of the first month, they made me permanent.
Jeez, you're that good.
That good.
Yeah, no. Influencer, I don't think your story can top this.
Yeah, I worked as an intern for more than a year without being paid.
More than a year.
Yeah.
Goodness
It was very, very
gracious.
tough.
No.
But during those days, I mean, I'm talking about something that happened more than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The newsrooms were white and Africans, not really welcoming.
For sure.
Obviously, most of us black young people coming from so-called disadvantaged areas. I had one foot in and I didn't want to leave.
All right, you caught the
So
bug.
I had to stay in there. I couldn't leave.
You want to add something quickly, Tshepo?
I think for Mahlatse to stay there for a year not getting anything, I think the passion is a driver.
It definitely is. It shows that for anything that you want to do in life, you have to love it, and then that's where it becomes not a job for you. But we move over to the CAF Champions League. I mean, that's what we know you as, of course, as our expert here on the show.
Yeah.
A lot has been happening. You look at Orlando Pirates. Last season, they were knocked out by Zwan and Galaxy. But this time around, things are different. Clearly, the homework has been done. They made sure that they get maximum points. Firstly, talk to us about this Pirates side. And, of course, then the key players who will assist them and how far do you think they will get looking at this Pirates?
Yeah. Well, if you watched Pirates in preseason, when they were in Spain, I was already very impressed because it didn't look like they were taking steps back from last season. It looked, even though it was friendlies, they looked like they were already becoming a better team.
Yeah.
And that's obviously maybe with consistency with the coaching staff, as well as with the key players some of them who've stayed behind. And I just want to mention that Pirates are doing what big teams in Champions League do. They win away. So if you look at all the results, Al Ahly won away. Sundowns played at home, but it's an away match. They won away. Esperance won away. Al Hilal of Sudan, they didn't win, but they got a 2-2 draw. They got the 2 away goals.
Yeah.
So the big teams always find a way in the away games. And Pirates did that, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
And obviously with some of the departures that they've had, with a lot of the so-called talismanic players like Lorch and Pule who've left, you've wanted to know who was going to fill in.
Yeah.
And you've seen guys like Mbete as well, Masongai take the step forward and add that attacking impotence to the team.
Yeah.
I think Musi, just to add for Pirates, one of the most important things is not conceding.
Yeah.
They went away, scored 2 goals, didn't concede.
Yeah.
And you also feel that in the bigger scheme of things, it really could have been an embarrassment if they were to go to Botswana and lose to this team again. I know, Joanning has got this thing, but they're a small Champions League team. And it's really unacceptable for the Pirates can lose to a team. And I expect Pirates to put them to the sword on Saturday when they come here. Orlando will be pegged.
Yeah.
The players will not want to make the same mistake again because this is the very same team that knocked them out last season, and they really embarrassed them.
100%. I mean, Tshepo, when you talk about Isgodini, I mean, influencer touches on the fact that it's packed. You commentate there. Talk to us about the atmosphere and the changes, really, because we are seeing that influx again.
In when Pirates play Al Ahly final first leg, I remember I was sitting on the last edge as a fan. I was there sitting there because the stadium was so packed. It was so full. So I was looking at Orlando Pirates' previous squad. I know people like to say you don't have to compare, but I was looking at that squad. Tshepo Matlaba, Sfiso Myeni, there was Nchumayelo, there was Gabuza who scored a beautiful goal on that goal. For me, that goal is still the best goal ever scored in Orlando Stadium. That 1-0 lead against Al Ahly on that full capacity Orlando. Gabuza scored that goal. So I was looking at that squad, and then I take the recent one, and I was like, okay, we will see.
Yeah, but the atmosphere is good there. I mean, it's similar. Obviously, Pirates are doing it consistently. It's similar to what you get at Moripe or Loftus with that Al Ahly, Esperance. The fans rock up, and you need that because you must make the team feel that they are playing away.
But Tammy, I want to find out, the stadiums in most African countries, are they big or are those because I saw most of in England they use those small, something like
small
you see,
compact stadium like
net.
30, 40,000. You know, so it's easy to fill a stadium
fill
like
it,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And I guess, Musi, just to quickly wrap up the CAF Champions League, now for the return leg where we are playing this weekend, not only for Pirates, but all the other big clubs, and also perhaps touch on Stellenbosch and how far they can go. Also, Skukuna United.
Yeah. So for Stellenbosch, you know, it's they've got one of the most difficult countries to play in. DRC is a very hostile environment.
Yeah.
The Vita fans love their team. They love going into African competition, but they also turn on their team. I remember when we played with Al Ahly, the first half they were supporting. Immediately after we scored, they turned on the coach, they turned on the players. So it's a place where if you can, you know, set your foot firmly and maybe score a goal, and immediately abandon Vita. You know, so I hope Stellenbosch can get the result they need to go further in the competition. I think it benefits South African football the longer we play in African competitions, and I wish the same for Skukune as well, because that increases the pool of our local players who have international experience. It might be at a club level, but it still helps, you know. And for the big teams that got their away wins, I think it's pretty much set in stone for them. You know, for Sundowns, we'll do the job against Mbane Swallows. Esperance, Al Ahly will beat Goma here. Mazembe will do the job against Red Arrows. And I expect, like Mahlatse said, I expect Pirates to beat Draneng as well. So you'll end up having, for me, I always say Champions League starts in the group stage, you know, like that's where you see, you'll end up having the big boys, and that's where you really separate the men from the boys.
Yeah, I think when Musi talks about Champions League talking the group stages, Coach Pitch used to say the Man City story, I mean the PSG story again. But the point that I just want to make, if you see the value of continental football, whether club or national teams, a classic example is Mokwana. Mokwana goes to AFCON, boom, he's playing for Esperance. And most of the Skukune players, most of the Stellenbosch players must take this opportunity and shine there, because you'll never know. We have got Jaden Adams, Stellenbosch, playing for the national team. Playing there will really help him. Will toughen him up a little bit. But when he comes to Bafana, it's a little bit tough. We were talking about Mufokeng for Bafana against South Sudan. For the first time in his career, he came against the big boys, and you could see they bullied him a little bit. He will learn from that experience, and you know, it will transfer back to Pirates, it will transfer back to Bafana. So it's important that our teams must really take this continental tournament seriously, because the benefits are just way bigger than even the clubs, but for the national team.
All right, so we do know that the Betway Premiership has officially kicked off. Yes, there are still a few more clubs that need to play the first game, but we'll look into the first ones that have, and we'll start with you, Tshepo. Roy M, Cape Town City. Talk to us about that encounter and really the technical differences that you saw between the two sides, and of course what you made of Cape Town City as well in that encounter.
Yeah, I think Coach Eric, I think compared to last season, I think there's not much of a change, except that boy coming from Namibia, Chiweza. I don't know if I pronounce it right, Chiweza. I think he got speed. He got that movement of the ball. I mean, they got the goal from that movement and also that speed from him. So I think they lack someone who can stay in the box, someone who can hold, put the ball back. Now they kind of like play a straight football. Like when it went there, it went. You see. So you're playing against a coach. I respect Coach John. Coach Maduka. You're playing a coach like Coach Maduka, who's always calm, and when he's calm, I know that he put together something. Like I said, first half he was playing with he played chairman Mpisani, jersey number 10. There was nothing that I saw that like he don't press when the ball is not on him. He's not hungry for he's not becoming hungry for the ball. So I think, and especially playing on a medal, it's the engine of the team. We expect you. So that boy, Kabelo Matlasel, he was not thick because no support around him. But immediately when Coach John introduced the Lesotho International, Modiba and Sarah, and also Sidem George, you can tell now that this is the lineup that John Maduka used to play.
For sure.
And remember, they brought back Brasinki. And Brasinki, I remember last time. Those are the things, but I will say a little bit. He said, give me a team, any team, even Bafana Bafana, like Brasinki, even Bafana Bafana, I will show miracles. I know football.
For sure.
So he's back there.
Yeah.
Then we'll see.
Maybe miracles. Influence. I mean, you wanted to talk about the chairman.
Yeah,
I mean, talk about the effort as well. I mean, I look at him, I'm thinking, okay, I'll take the fact that he's lost weight. That's a good first step.
Yeah.
Now we need to see, of course, also in the field of play.
Yeah, I'll start off, I think, just by acknowledging the fact that is this a club that can do whatever they want to do. But if we are ready to be honest, it's a little bit, it's a real shame that a promising, hungry, even more talented young player will probably sit on the bench and then, you know, the chairman plays. I mean, it is that decision, like I'm saying, that the chairman can play, but you can really see that the guy is just not serious. If you are in that environment where everything
He's
is
not serious or he's not talented. Which one do you
well,
think
I think there is some he can play a little bit, but I just don't think he takes it serious enough.
Okay.
I'm definitely sure that in that club there's somebody, even at DDC, there must be a younger player who can come in there and be given that opportunity. The chairman must go and do music there and do all those things that he's doing there, but playing football, I really don't think is his thing. And I can tell you right now, if you speak to the coach of the will tell you, the coach will not want to play, because as Tshepo is saying,
sure.
if you see the way they play in the first half, you can see they were playing with the man down. When the substitutions start happening, that's when they become better. The guy doesn't press, he doesn't run, he doesn't do anything. And if they were playing against a stronger team, they could have destroyed them in that first half, because they were, you know, they really did not play with 11 in the first half, and it's a serious pity.
Yeah, no, I can see the pain in your eyes.
Yeah,
you're
and
really
I mean, also this is a
this.
club that can't sign players, by the way,
Yeah.
and then they find themselves in that situation. It's really not. It's not good.
It definitely isn't. But I want to shift focus with you, Musi, in terms of Cape Town City. I mean, you look at the signings that they made, promising, exciting.
Yeah.
First game in, and of course, MTN 8 didn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
What have you made of the citizens? And really, can they get this consistency right? Because I feel, you look at the past seasons, that's where they've been struggling. It's not that the players are not there, but they just go into this dip and you're just like, what's going on, citizens?
I think, and I'm obviously talking from someone who's not involved with the club, or I don't know much about the club internally. But I think Cape Town City, for me, it feels like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we're still okay. You know, I feel like they have those moments where you look at them and you're like, but this is the team that competes with the best in our league.
Yeah.
You know, and then a week later or 2 weeks later, you're like, this is a team that's, you know, just okay with the status quo. Or, you know, I think if you compare them to their neighbors, you would have said Cape Town City is ahead of Stellenbosch. But I think if you take the last 18 months into play, Stellenbosch is quite ahead of them, you know. And I think if they play each other, you'll probably say Stellenbosch is the favorites to win that, you know. So for me, I think, it's amazing that Cape Town City got players of international experience like Mokocho in, you know, that he passed so many teams along the way and ended up at Cape Town City. For me, it's still a bit of a surprise, you know. But one thing they do well, Cape Town City, is every season, two players, 2 or 3 players come out that you're like, these players are ready to take a step into, you know, into a higher level.
For sure.
But I think Cape Town City should be concerned about exactly what we said, their consistency in the long run.
I fully agree with you. And then Mamelodi Sundowns and SuperSport United, they were in action yesterday. Let's quickly find out what went down at the press conference yesterday. I'm glad Mahlatse Mphahlele was there.
It was fireworks.
So fireworks, he says. So we'll get to find out more. But here's Mangoba Mngiti.
You have to face the realities. And the good thing is that I've got a very high self-esteem. I'm very confident. in my ability, I'm very confident. And I know what I'm capable of. So it's not what an opinionated person says that defines me. Because other people can't even manage their own lives, but they've got big opinions about what you are competent on. So if you listen to everybody, you end up losing your mind. So for me, it's always important to trust my gut feeling, to trust my competence, to trust my abilities as a human being, and to know that sometimes I can do so well, but maybe luck might not be on my side and circumstances might not favor me. But one thing you must know, I'm very capable of taking decisive decisions. That's one thing I'm good at. If you can check some of the top players that were respected in my previous clubs, when I say I no longer feel you are helping the club, I take that decision and I move. And that helps me a lot. If you go back to Golden Arrows, you check what happened to Y2K, what happened to Pelapagati, what happened to Peret, Amazulu, and all these players that were influential in those teams. But when I feel you are not going to help the team at that point in time, I take the decision. But one thing good, I'm a very good human being. I don't keep grudges. When you are ready to perform and give the team what it needs, I will always embrace you because I must be a bigger boy. I must be the father to these kids. If these kids are looking up to their leader to make sure that he is also fair to them, just like in any other family, there will be good moments, there'll be bad moments, there'll be punishments, there'll be rewards, there'll be successes, there'll be failures. It's a story of life.
A little bit of jabs here and there, but I don't want to, get anything out of context. Mahlatse Mphahlele, you were there. What was the question that was asked here?
Yeah, well, I guess the question that was asked was to say, what keeps him going in the face of pressure, adversity, and all that kind of thing. And actually, at the beginning, he did say that he doesn't listen to the rubbish that people say about him. He was very, very strong. He took journalists on. Sometimes he was.
What did you guys do to him? Because I've never seen the side of him.
I guess the coach is responding to the criticism that he has faced. Remember in the M10-8, they played against Polokwane. They won 1-0, but they didn't score. Though they created a lot of chances. They lost back-to-back matches against Stellenbosch. They didn't score. And there was a lot of pressure. People were sort of reminding their learning days and saying, "Hey, what are we seeing here?"
Yeah.
And to his credit, I think they created chances to just score. And then on Saturday, I was at Attersville. They scored 4 past the Mbabane Swallows. It is Mbabane Swallows, but it was important for them to score 4 goals for the players to have confidence and come back. And I think the game yesterday was a poor game of football, but they got they won. Which is what you need, and they scored 2 goals and they didn't concede. So I think but he was just responding to the level of criticism that has been there. Also leading up to this match against SuperSport, there was the issue of Khuliso Mdawi and Teboho Mokoena that maybe there is disharmony in the camp.
For sure.
So with all those kinds of things in one pot, made the man to lose his cool. And that's for the first time I saw him the way he was yesterday. He was on the warpath. I didn't ask a single question. I just took out my popcorns and I sat there.
Oh, you didn't want to receive any fire yesterday?
I didn't want him to. The bullies coming in my direction. Yeah, it was a fiery press conference. And yeah, well, let's see how it goes going from here,
29 more games in the Betway Premiership. I'm absolutely excited. I hope you are too. But
I remember the days of Coach Piso. Coach Piso was never taking nonsense from anyone.
Yeah, no, definitely would put you in your pot straight. But Tshepo, when you look into Mamelodi Sundowns, there has been that talk as to this is a different side. What have you made of Mamelodi Sundowns? And now when the other teams are looking at this current Sundowns, do you think that anyone can take the league this time around from Sundowns?
If you had coach said, "I'm good on taking a decisive
decisions." Yeah.
So there's 2. I was asking when I was at home yesterday. I was like, who's playing central, and who? and who's playing attack and who. You see, so this is a different Sundowns. To tell you the truth, it's different Sundowns. But second half, there's something that I saw from Sundowns. There's that pinpoint passes from keeper to the side to the middle, to the side to the middle, and straight to Peter. But you look at Peter Shalulile, I think he's a new Peter. I don't understand him these days.
And I'm glad
The
Musi is
Peter.
here because Musi also knows Peter Shalulile very well.
The Peter I know, that
Yeah.
ball he should have put it back inside the net.
Yeah.
The Peter Shalulile that I know. But now I think it's like he lost confidence. He's no longer hungry.
Yeah.
Like there's something. But
So pause that thought and Musi perhaps just come in on Peter Shalulile, because we've spoken about a Shalulile and a Presitao when now different roles and now people are questioning, do they still have it? Shalulile, you know him well and the different roles that he plays within Mamelodi Sundowns and what he brings. What have you made of him?
Well, first thing I'll say is they still have it. When you talk about the Percy's and the Peter Shaluliles, they still have it. I just think it's about finding your fit in the new situation. I think for Peter as well, he was having a fantastic run, and then he had a couple of injuries which stopped that progress. And since he's come back from those injuries, I wouldn't say he's been the Peter of old, but he's still Shalulile. You know, you still cannot give him a half chance because chances are he'll score it. I think, you know, when you look at the setup of the team, you see Reyners, you see Shalulile, you know, you see Allende, you see when Mshishi came on as well, you see Ribeiro. And Sundowns is always a team that has lots of movement in the front, in attack, you know. And I think that also requires a lot of concentration from the players, because at a certain time you may find yourself as a winger. And then next thing you're the 9, next thing you're a 10 maybe. So I think it's just, I'll chalk it down to early season jitters maybe for him. I know the player that he can be, the player that he's shown us to be as well.
For sure.
So I have no doubt he'll get back to that.
All right, so Tshepo, you can add to that.
Oh, yeah. So also, there's something that I noticed from the Mamelodi Sundowns now. They no longer have that patience on the ball. Like they rush to score. Also, they rush to break from. I mean, to build from the back. They no longer have those silent building from the back. They rush to go forward. But if you ask me, I don't see Mamelodi Sundowns that will open the gap like last season, winning the league with
in December maybe.
You see, I don't see that happen this season.
Influencer, you were at of course the stadium last night. I want to quickly also find out from you. I mean, with the inclusion of Reyners also there being alongside Shalulile, we are speaking of course this being a different setup. What have you made of them as a pairing as well?
Yeah, I think maybe in general terms, I've watched all the matches this season, and obviously they're different. Somebody was making I don't know if it was a joke or what, by saying they're playing Gauteng football. They are too quick. On that part, it may work. Musi maybe may agree with me. It may work in the Champions League, because most of the Champions League teams are playing quick transition football, you know, I expect them to go as far as they can in Champions League because of the way they play now. One of the key things for them that is going to be important is the Temba Zwane issue.
Play him, Shishi. You guys have been saying.
I just don't think he's a good impact player. I think he's somebody who must set you up, and then
He had impact yesterday.
When he's tiring in the second half, you take him out. If we are going to be every time bringing Mshishi on, I just don't think if that will work. They start with him, let him set you up. Maybe when you go to half time, you are leading 2-0 already because of the impact that he has had from the start. You know, that's another issue. I
don't know if I agree with you, but I hear you.
Yeah, you know, because I mean, even if you check the fans wants him to start, you know, and for me, I think he's a player that needs to start, you know, so he can help you to set things up.
So I agree with you, right? In terms of, yes, he does need to start. But I think also when he comes off the bench, he does also make an impact. So as much as, yes, we'd like for Mshishi to start, but he does bring an impact. I mean, we saw in the Tshwane derby, just within 5 minutes, the team completely changed around Mshishi and everybody was just ticking because that's what Mshishi does. I mean, you know very well what Pizzo says about Mshishi.
Yeah. I know when he's dancing, the man can make things to happen. Sometimes you may have a problem when he comes on and then it doesn't quite click, and then you are running out of time. So those are the considerations that you'll have to make. But generally, nothing much has changed. I think it's a settled team. They may just be going through Coach Steve calls it the storming and norming and forming and all those things. I think they are on what now?
I
don't know where they are now, but you also feel that because of the experience, as soon as they deal with the Kulisom Dao, the bomb gonna issue, and then they start getting consistency, they will be strong again.
Musi, analyst perspective, Aubrey Modiba, where do you think is most influential? Because you see him as a left back, you see him also in the middle of the park. So now with what you've seen and also having, of course, seen him in the past few days and the growth that he's had from SuperSport United, where is his best position?
So I actually have a different take about this. I like players that are multifaceted. The Bobayan Spanner. And I remember even from before Sundowns at SuperSport, Aubrey would play on the left, cutting on his right foot from a fullback position. He's at a 10. He's in between the centre backs. I like those kind of players. I don't feel players have best positions. I just feel they have positions where they're of most threat. And sometimes that the player might not feel that's his best position. There's some players who feel I'm better as a left winger, but really you might even be a left back and offer us more in attack or in defense, So for me, pretty much once you cross over the halfway line, as long as Aubrey's in that space, for me, he's in a good position. It's the same as with like a Tembers one. As long as they're in that final third, it's just they do what they have to do. Those are the game changers that you need in your team.
The other thing about Sundowns is that you can see the coach is deliberate about it. There's this kid, Koza kid, it's a central defender. I've watched him. There's something there. He's tall, he's comfortable on the ball. Yesterday, I think Mabena was in the match day squad. There may be a deliberate plan of trying to play the younger players, and that will be good for them. But this the central defender boy is very, very good, and that one also. I think. I don't know what they're going to do then in that position there of the left back. But also, he's somebody of huge promise. And kudos must go to Skukune for having spotted him and discovered him because he's got something. He's a very, very good promising footballer.
All right, so let's quickly wrap up the Tswana derby. Musi, talk to us about SuperSport United. I mean, we looked at their signings as well. Bringing in a Vincent Bule, we thought, sure, kudos. He's going to be influential for SuperSport, but there's
flat
something.
Yesterday,
oh my goodness, there is something missing there, and I'm just trying to also pinpoint as to what it is. What have you made of them?
So I put SuperSport in the Cape Town City bracket. Of when they're good, they're good, and they make you think that they can really cause an upset in the league in terms of positioning, but also sometimes it seems they're okay. The one thing I know is that the coach of SuperSport is never happy with mediocrity. He always wants the players to die basically on the pitch. And sometimes when you don't see that on the pitch, you wonder if it's the players who are not maybe giving their all. Because 100% I know the coach always wants to win.
For
And for a player for me like Vincent Bule, I've expected a lot from him since he was at Wits. And for me personally, he has not delivered, So I still want to see him move from that. I put him in an average player bracket to into the very good player brackets, because I believe that he has a at least 8 goal, 15 assist season in him. He's got a good left foot for delivery as well as for finishing. And you want to see that more from him.
I fully agree, influencer.
And they've suffered a massive setback with the injury of Brother Khulawala and Khan Magaman. That is going to hurt them because Magaman and Lovu, they're in the midfield. When they get going very good, we know Bradley in terms of scoring goals. So you have lost a key central midfielder. You have lost a key striker. I don't know where the goals are going to come because Juga Manja is not scoring enough. And yeah, that's gonna be a serious problem for them.
Yeah.
You want to quickly add on that, Tshepo?
I mean, you need a leader from the center, at the back center.
For sure.
And also forward. You need a leader on those three departments.
At least at the back, Tyson is there.
Tyson
I
is
think
there,
I saw they played Ime Ocon. It means there was a rumor that he's leaving. I don't think he's leaving anymore. That consistency of Ime Ocon and Tyson will be very key for them at the back.
It definitely would be. It would be a sin not to talk about Amakosi Lacha because Kaizer Chiefs fans, oh, you guys make our days because you guys are being followed.
Yo,
you guys are being stalked. Like, it's a lot. But let's quickly find out what Spider Brian Maloyi has to say about Kaizer Chiefs.
You know, with Kaizer Chiefs for the past 10 years, let me say 9 years, one has been supporting, but knowing that we're not doing enough. We don't have enough players to really challenge. So you've been supporting and knowing that you're just waiting, for the end of the season and to be heard. But this time around, it's one of the first times where I'm not just supporting, but I'm optimistic. And I'm excited about what's happening at the club, starting with the coaching staff and with the type of players that we've been signing and that we're looking to sign. I'm excited and I think we are on the right trajectory, and a lot is going to come from Chiefs this year and the coming years. And I believe that this is the time. A lot of times where we've had a new coach, new players, and the club would say this is a building phase, but this is the real building phase. And but having said that, the coach knows that the peace-loving people are very demanding. We want to win. Wishing them all the best.
Well, Spider is optimistic, and so are you guys. I've seen the log leaders t-shirts, and listen, it's been great. We love it when you guys are happy. But we'll get to, of course, the social media tweets that we've seen in just a bit. Musi, you've watched Kaizer Chiefs. You chose Gaston Sirino as your star of the week. Yeah. What have you made of them? I mean, they went to Toyota Stadium pre-season. We were like, oof, things are not looking great. But now here they are picking up a win. What do you read from this Chiefs side so far?
Yeah, so I'd say if you look at the way the season ended for Chiefs, or the way most of last season went for Chiefs, and obviously then pre-season, the loss to Yanga, I think also there was a loss to TS Galaxy somewhere there. Already people were pushing the panic buttons, but pre-season is pre-season. Then you hope that the coaches and the players learn from what happened, and the most important thing for Chiefs was to win the first game of the season, which they did. And for me, I might be a bit biased, but when I look at a team like Chiefs, they were lacking a lot of offensive threat, and Gaston brings that. There were a few players in our league who are game changers. Yeah. Tembazwane is a game changer. Gaston Sirino is a game changer. The players in that level, you can't just not expect anything from that player. And if you look at every opportunity that Chiefs had, whether it was set piece, whether it was normal build-up play or counter-attacks, Gaston was involved. You need, fortunately, you get a player who can make something out of nothing. In every team in the world, all the top teams have players who can make something out of nothing. For sure. Because football some days is just about you and the ball and putting it in the back of the net, regardless of the tactics, regardless of the situation of the game, And Gaston made the assist, obviously, for the first goal. And he had a lot of set-piece delivery that was good. I think a header from cross that went slightly over the goals. And then he had the secondary assist for the second goal as well, He's a player that makes something out of nothing. And unfortunately, there's still, the red flags are there because they conceded early. But the bottom line is, in football, if you score more, you win the game. So first get the scoring right, and then we can work on the defensive part, which they have to do that as well.
Influencer, then touch on those red flags, because you've been following Kaizer Chiefs as well. Where do you place them now? Because before this first game of the league, we said, no, let's not expect too much from Kaizer Chiefs this season as they're building. What do you say now? Have things changed? What are the red flags or green flags on your side?
You see, when she does this, she was get into trouble.
That is not
Yeah,
true.
red flags. I think they'll finish in top 8. That's number one. They'll improve from last season. They've got a coach who, we've been to Naturani a few times, and we're hearing good things about the coach. He's demanding a lot from the players. They are working. There's a new work ethic. There's a new culture. Those things of body language and that kind of thing, which are important behind the scenes in a group. So there is a good start. They've played their first official match, and my worry is.
This is where we get to the worry now. Fantastic.
My worry is I just don't know where their goals are going to come from. Ranga, he's a big boy, very forceful, but he doesn't score much. Saile also, he doesn't score much. In the middle field, I think they are very, very good, as Musi has also indicated. The addition of Serino is very, very key. But with Serino, must know one thing. If the other people around him are not going to be picking up their weight, he can be, I don't want to say petulant, but he can be very, very finicky sometimes, that because he's going to demand good stuff from the people around him. And if the energy is not right around him, he's going to drop, and there will be a problem there. So it's going to be very, very key that the other people around him come to the party and they help him, because if they help him, he will help them. At the back, I've been thoroughly impressed with this Dudley kid from Cape Town.
You've been singing his
I
praises,
think Ed Bafana who are sorted there. They must not do anything, leave him there. We just need to find who's going to part time there. Even at Chiefs, I think him and that Angolan guy, they're fine there at central defense. So they look okay, but Musi will tell you when the fixture comes, we look at the 5 matches, 15 points. Let's get 12 out of these 15 games. I don't know that for now. Chiefs can go and get 12 out of the first 5 matches. Consistency is going to be key. Chabalala and Vilakazi. Also, you find that there's a little bit of immaturity in their staff. I'm worried that when if they start keep on going, they'll start doing those things of dancing and playing to the crowd. They need to be managed properly. I liked what the coach said after the match, that they are like my children. I will protect them. I'll make sure that they do the right things, because also, if Chiefs are to be successful this season, those 2 boys will have to come to the party also. So they are good, but I don't think they'll win the league, but they'll be there.
It's everyone's kids. I mean, we just heard Mwamwisi also saying he's like a father. So clearly,
you have to look after the young players.
Everybody has got that role. But Tshepo, I mean, when you commentate a Kaizer Chiefs game, how is that for you from a commentator's perspective and preparation really for a Chiefs game?
People always say it's easy to commentate Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, and those are the difficult ones. Because someone like Mahlatse, who knows football, you can't keep saying pace it out, and then you pass, and then you say play for Sundowns. No. He want to hear something that you don't know, he don't know.
For sure.
So when you do a game like Polokwane City, Marumo Gallants, most of us, we don't pay attention too much. So when you say something, it's new to their ears. So for Pirates, for Chiefs, you have to dig deep every time to come up with something new.
No, I fully agree with
and
you.
with Chiefs also, you must change the narrative because of the losses. There's not too many good stories there. Hopefully this season there will be something.
Hopefully there will be. But I mean, Musi, you look into a Gallants side. And we'll start with Clauiee Lambo, who, I mean, hasn't been playing for a long time, but he goes into this side and he's impactful for Dan Malisela, which is quite impressive for Coach Dan Dans, because, he has a way with his central defenders. I mean, he just makes them dance in some particular way. You look at Ndlondlo, when he was with Coach Dan, he was dancing. Tim and also Ungema, who's now at Amazulu, all these players impactful under Dans. When they move, they become different players. But talk to us about Clauiee Lambo, how he's utilized and how he really showed up and stepped up for Coach Dan.
Yeah, I think guys like Clauiee, they have lots of experience. You know, they've played in the bigger stage on the local level in the league, and I think you need those kind of players to instill the sense of confidence in the rest of the team, and also to dictate the tempo of the team. You know, when you look at him play, he's always looks calm on the ball. He looks relaxed, and some people might think he's slow, but he's dictating play. You know, and with Coach Dan, you know, he's a coach who likes a possession-based style of play, a fearless style of play. If you look at the goal that they scored, immediately it was a free kick. Mhango quickly tapped, quickly go, and immediately you already had 4 players attacking without fear. You know, and the goal comes the way the goal comes, because again, with Dan you always get interplay. You get players jumping over the ball, stepping over the ball. You know, and they scored from that. So as long as leaders in the team like Clauiee are able to get the message of the coach onto the pitch, I think Gallants will always present a difficult opposition for a team. There's nothing more difficult than playing a team that's not afraid. You know?
Quickly, influencer, before you jump in, Musi, when you look into Gallants, right, and how they're going to attack, do you think they're strong enough up front? Because I look at that and I'm thinking, geez, they're going to need the goals to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Not to to put a damp on things, there's a lot of teams that you ask that same question. Even Kaizer Chiefs itself, like Mahlatse said, you know, you wonder where the goals will come from. And Gallants with guys like let's say Malungwane as well on the pitch, maybe coming from a deeper position, you might expect players like that to create. They have Gabadinho. I mean, if you remember, everybody will all remember the goal he scored. I think it was against Morocco in the AFCON. You know, they have their moments, but can you have a player who consistently creates for you? You know, when you look at, quickly I just want to mention, when you look at like a Gaston, for example, I think it's 2018, 2019, he had over 30 goal contributions. I think 10 goals and 22 assists. Those kind of players are few and far between in our league. And when a player like that is available, you have to snatch him up, because goals are difficult to come by in PSL.
100%. Influencer, I mean, you watch Coach Dan, you know him very well.
Yeah, Coach Dan. I come along with Coach Dan. If you look at this Gallant side, it's got just a proper, you know, from what do they call it in English? Footprints of Coach Dan. Talenek Bay, Kolamlambo, as we said, he went to fetch Malangwane. Malangwane was coaching some school here in Midrand that retired from football. He went to fetch him. Obviously, I mean, he's got his own challenges of the field and stuff. Gabadinho, he has gone for players that probably were cheap, players that nobody would have gone for.
The unwanted.
And in his favor, the delay in the start of the season gave him a chance to work with them. He's working in an environment where there's not too many resources. They will struggle to do certain things and all that, but he's experienced enough to be able to navigate around these things. They are in bloom. I think they will have to immerse themselves in that Bloemfontein culture for the fans to react. I mean, you know, Bloem. They still love Celtic, but they will embrace this team. And if the people of Bloem back this team, you know, it may spare them to really do good things. So yeah, I'm expecting some nice stuff from them.
All right, Musi, I mean, consistency is one thing that's been popping up in the show quite a lot. You've been part of a squad where you guys have been consistent and been champions. What's the checklist? What do you need to ensure to make sure that you get this consistent results?
So I think the first thing, it starts before you even get on the pitch. I think there has to be a buy-in from at least 90% or 80% of the players, because that should be about enough to get you over. Because the majority always rules. It tends to drag the players who are not so committed to become committed as well. And there's something that we'd call like the formation of a tribe, you know, and at its highest level, the tribe, everybody works for everybody, you know. And that was one thing we had quite a bit in, I think, from about the 2014 to 2017, 2018 period as well at Sundowns. And that was something that we also came by easily with Al Ahly in Egypt, you know. Irrespective of the differences we may have off the pitch, once we step on the pitch, everybody fights for everybody. And the second thing is you need squad depth. you know, it's easy for players to become very complacent in their positions when he knows he's going to play all the time. It's just human nature, even if he's a good person at heart.
Yeah.
But knowing that I'm not going to be challenged for my position throughout the season, it causes you to relax a little bit. You know, one thing we always strive for is to have 2 or 3 players per position. You know, for a player to go from starting a game to unfortunately sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
You know, and not through any fault of his own, but he might have come off on the 70th minute, and the guy who replaced him on the 20th minute for the last 20 minutes was fantastic. And the 2-3 days of training between again was fantastic. And the coaches always want to have the players who are going to help them win on the pitch. And once you can get that out the way of a player's name, but rather his impact, you create consistency within the squad because everybody knows their position is up for grabs.
Well, there you have it. Please copy and paste and send this to your favorite club so that we can try and, of course, get
And
that
we're going to
little
charge
bit of a
them for
battle.
this.
We must charge them for this, yeah.
There's nothing for free.
No, not at all. But before we wrap it up, gentlemen, Mahlatse Mphahlele, I mean, we've seen, of course, the first round, but it's not really a complete first round.
Yeah.
What are you expecting Betway Premiership with what you've seen? Yes, we haven't seen Orlando Pirates play in the league yet, but we've seen them in terms of other competitions.
Yeah, obviously, still early days, but I expect Sundowns to grow stronger. I expect Pirates to be competitive because there's consistency there. Even though I keep on saying I'm a little bit worried that the Champions League will disturb them. I was with one of the officials there, Derek Blankenship. I said to him, if you want to go there in the Champions League, I hope you have got money for a charter flight. Otherwise, you are in serious trouble.
Yeah.
I expect something from Stellenbosch, SuperSport, Cape Town City. There's a lot of
The
inconsistency.
non-consistent
Yeah,
clubs, you're expecting something.
There's a lot of inconsistency. The other team that I want to watch closely is Polokwane City.
Who's your dark horse for the season? Who's somebody we don't expect that you think might cause quite a stir?
It's going to be very difficult, having just gone through one round,
match,
but
yeah.
The team that I want to watch close is Polokwane City. I like that coach.
So that's your dark horse then.
Well, not quite, because also the environment there is crazy. The people there, what happens behind the scenes there is a little bit tricky. But I like the coach. A lot of people don't take him serious, but if you talk to him, he knows football. I enjoy watching them play. They play football the right way.
Yeah.
That kind of football doesn't always bring results, but you can see that he's somebody who studies a lot.
Sure.
I was even saying to somebody that I wish maybe he can go and work with a Gavin, maybe with the Sundowns or Eric Tingler to gain more, to work under an experienced coach to gain more, because I like him. I like him as much as I like Musi Matlaba. I like the little bit of arrogance that he has. He's somebody who's also a very, very good young South African coach. So yeah,
okay.
Some of the matches that I've seen so far has been good. There's been very poor matches. I think some of the match on Saturday afternoon was not that good. Royal AM and Royal AM, I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, I'm excited for the season.
All right, Tshepo, what about you? And maybe also touch on the DDC side.
Yeah. So I think there's something good that's happening in our league. Each and everyone introduce young players.
Yeah.
So we are good going forward for the future.
For sure.
Good. DDC is cooking. Like everything there is fine. You look at everything now in a young player also on DDC, which is something on our league.
Yeah.
So I would like to jump into Coach Dan. If you look at Coach Dan, Dan believe in before coaching, there must be a talent.
Yes.
That's Coach Dan. If you look at the players that we Mahlatse talk about, Abu Tola, Abu Mlangwan, those are talented players. Just that the age now is already gone. You see, but Coach Dan believes in talent before everything. You can be a hard worker, but talent before everything.
For sure.
And there you work with the ball. I used to sit in meetings with him, coach, the late Ted, coach then Sudesh, Simon Ngomani, those guys. You know, you watch them how they do stuff.
Yeah.
They want to play football.
They definitely do. Musi, on your side, and you might as well also answer your question, your black horse, and of course expectation of the Betway Premiership.
I've always had a soft spot for golden arrows.
Really?
I don't know. I've always liked golden arrows. I think it's from back in the day when they all used to dye their hair blonde. You know, so I hope they do better this season. I think they always have it in them to cause an upset or two.
Okay, and then in terms of the league,
I still think Sundowns will win it. I'm hoping for a tighter run in, but I think Sundowns, the gap that they have created already, even if it could be closed, it won't be enough to surpass them. So I still believe Sundowns will win the league. I just hope for a more closer race.
You didn't ask me which team I think will win the league.
I also think you're going for Sundowns, but anyway, indulge me, please.
I think Sundowns will be strong. I told you. And I think also Coach Mangoba has got a lot to prove. You know, is that of all the times that he has won the league, he's winning the league with somebody. Now he's the coach now, so it will be a big feather in his cap if he goes on and win this league.
Do you also want to indulge me? Who you think is going to win?
Came to Paris 2 seasons.
Thank you. Someone that makes sense. Yeah, I agree with you, Tshepo.
So Reviro is on a good way. So Pirates.
There we go. I think you might be on the money.
We'll see about that one.
But of course, that's a different perspective from the gentleman here. I would love to hear from you as well. Who do you think will win the league? But before we get out of here, the best fans, I think, in my opinion, in South Africa. Listen, you guys are so entertaining. Kaizer Chiefs fan. Let's quickly find out what you guys have been saying in the social streets. Oh, this is the one where they want the box now. They want the Springboks now. We are beyond football, too strong for that round thing. And then Isokai is saying that they stay undefeated. I tell you, even NIU could dangerous in Jengale Chiefs. Yeah, this season. One game in,
After
by the
one
way.
Game, yes.
I love it.
Unbelievable.
No, I love Kaizer Chiefs fans. And then at Debs Zawamuisa saying that someone said Nabi must go because he's going to kill us with too much happiness.
You know, what I love about Chiefs is they live game to game.
Exactly.
So every game is a season.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and then as Kaizer Chiefs fans, we are no longer safe. We are being followed by cars with no number plates. And then this is from Neo Gifta saying that I heard one fan saying he's wearing his jeans without a belt on because he gained so much weight, my good sir. From one game.
Yeah, Chile, they're the top there.
Yeah, I know. On top. No DNA, just log leaders.
But you must remember that if you fall there, it can be a very painful thing.
Isn't Chiefs playing Sundowns, I think, the third game?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, under 28.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And this one is my favorite.
Log leaders.
10 LA Lakers, manje. Once, log leaders, number 1.
No lie was told it.
Not at all. Unbeaten clubs. Okay. Amongst
they're playing in the Premier League now.
Next one.
Yeah, this is the funniest one.
This is the funniest
this
one.
This person made a mock-up of a high court judgment where they are requested to go play in La Liga or something like that.
I think yes, La Liga, yes. Spanish football leagues where they want to go.
This on PSL is small things. They are going.
Oh my goodness! Don't they entertain us? Don't you guys love Kaizer Chiefs?
I love them.
Listen, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Can we give them the best title of fans?
Yeah. No. In terms of the fans, no, they've got the coolest fans.
Yeah. Especially in social media.
Social media fans.
I think social media they take
we
the
need
cup.
more wins from Chiefs so that we can see more of this.
Yeah.
I fully agree.
Yeah, but also even if they do well, I mean, I understand FNB is a big stadium, but if they start doing well, you can see them filling the bottom top of the stadium and creating a very good atmosphere. So yeah, I mean, I really hope the best for them. As we always say, Chiefs is a big club to suffer like this, So
yeah.
If we have Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, and one or two so-called smaller teams competing, it will be good for a game. I mean, just look at the what do they call the happy index of the country?
You know, they give us happiness. This is really great. But even though the other
Everybody's
clubs
good.
are not happy with that. But nonetheless,
You know,
that's
so
how we
yeah,
wrap up the
good
show.
luck
It's been
to
absolutely
Amakosi.
great. Amakosi Jabulile, we're wishing you more happiness. And we'll see, of course, what happens in the Betway Premiership. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Cool.
Always a pleasure. We do it again soon.
This
Cheers,
man says
goodbye.
Matsetsele Matsatseleko.